Shall we? All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Umesh. Welcome to this Reimagine startup session with Swiss Re. This is Umesh. I lead the change management side in Swiss Re Bangalore, and we also have Nishant and Rohan on the call. Um, I'll hand it over to them for a quick introduction. Nishant.
Yeah, thanks, Ramesh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this, exciting session. And we are all part of the same team. We are part of the strategy team in Swiss Re. And we basically, are also the ones who are going to kind of host this challenge in Swiss Re. So we are looking forward to all your participation and, taking you through the entire journey. So, yeah, Rohan.
Hi everyone, Rohan here. Good to have you all here. And like Nishant said, we are part of the same team, so no introduction needed there. Look forward to us answering your questions. Umesh, back to you.
Sure. Great. Thank you, guys. All right. All right. So I see that we already have the screen. I hope everybody can see it. So let's quickly talk about what Swissery is all about and how the organization's taken its own path come to this level. So we are about roughly 160-year-old organization, 159 to be precise, but then you can broadly take it 160. Started off way back in 1863, changed names as in re-christianed a couple of times, changed the logos, came back all the way to 2020, and there is a new milestone that has now come up, which is in 2022 we've opened another office in Hyderabad. So that probably when one of you join us or when one of you get to speak with us 2 3 months later, that will be added here onto this slide as another milestone that has come into our kitty. This is the broader vision of the organization. We make the world more resilient. What are we trying to say? We're trying to say if you've got any problem, any calamity, anything that hits you which is unpleasant, and you are trying to recover from that situation, we are there to help you. We are there by your side, and hence our mission. In terms of the talent that is there in the organization, Swiss Re is very particular about diversity and inclusion. It is very particular about collaboration, collaborating with individuals across the globe, and you will soon see what is our global presence. But the idea is to have a collaborative culture across the offices in the organization and have people interact with each other to as much level as possible. And this is where our global presence takes shape. We've got we're present in about 121 nationalities, about roughly 13,000 employees, 81 offices in 29 countries. And for those who are wondering, we are here out of Bangalore, but the organization is quite open towards people moving from one office to the other if there is need. Now, this is basically what you see on screen is our three pillars. If you've noticed the Swiss Re logo towards the left bottom, you will see there are three pillars that the organization has, and those three pillars are basically our three business units. Reinsurance being the largest, followed by corporate solutions, followed by iptq, which is a leading insurance platform that we have, and all of it is taken care of by the broader group foundation. Now, what also supersedes all of it, if you look at the picture in detail or if you look at the picture closely, there also is the bottommost layer which says our people. And this is where Swiss Re is very particular. It is a super employee centric organization that strongly believes that people are the core towards its success and the core towards anything that happens across the organization. Hence, they gain maximum weightage. This, what you see now, is the Bangalore journey. We started way back in 2001 and have scaled up from 140 to almost 2,000 employees. We'll be closing this year with about 2,000 employees and a newer center. that is opened in Hyderabad. So we opened our center, I think, on the 27th of July. Hence, you don't see the center here in these packs. Fairly recent, fairly building up, a new set of leadership coming in, a new set of work or processes coming in Hyderabad. So it's a fairly growing center, growing location, and there is the group is quite clear in terms of laying its entire focus onto the BSCs, which are based out of Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Bratislava. So right place to invest at this point in time. Now what you see on screen is possibly the busiest slide that we have in this pack, which talks about the Swiss Re value chain. It talks about what is driven out of the BSCs. So all the way from client management support to looking at to underwriting to identifying pricing, all strategy management, finance, risk management, everything is run out of Bangalore. It is only the signing of documents which is required, which needs regulatory, which comes with its own regulatory complications, which is not done here. And then there is asset management, which is not run out of Bangalore or out of the BSCs. Everything else, the entire value chain of the organization is has some touch point or the other in Bangalore, which also essentially means you have a huge scope to experiment with your career choice, with what you want to do, and try out different skill sets in different parts of the organization. That was broadly what Swiss Re is all about. And now you will get to know what Reimagine is all about. And I will hand it over to Nishant to take you through the first case study or the first problem statement. Nishant, over to
Yeah.
you.
Sure. Thanks, Umesh. So Swiss, I mean, Reimagine for us, we have been running it for last 4 or 5 years, right? It's our annual, university and academia challenge. What we do is we basically put out, uh, you know, topics or challenges which are more relevant to us as an organization and industry, insurance, reinsurance as an industry itself. We then have participants kind of participating. Of course, there is a winner, and those winners are then kind of interviewed for their internship opportunities. And if they do well in the internship, there is a probable chance of kind of rolling out a PPO as well, right? So that's how we. It's also it's a sort of opportunity for us to judge the best talent that is there among students that we regularly interact with, and try to kind of give them the opportunity in terms of interacting with Swiss Re leadership, learning from the senior leadership in Swiss Re, and if possible, opportunity to kind of work with us as well, right? So that's what this challenge is. It's been running for last 4, 5, 6 years. And this year, of course, we have kind of tied up with Unstop to bring it to the wider audience. And thanks to you all for kind of showing interest and participating in it, right? So let me just quickly, and given that this we are a reinsurance firm, our problem statements are very will have a tangential, at least, or direct or a tangential view of insurance and reinsurance industry in the market largely. So we have two problem statements here. I'll take the first one first, which is in terms of the finance slash insurance domain, and the topic is the impact of long term COVID and its implication on medical morbidity and mortality insurance risk pool. Now these are heavy words, so let me give you a little bit of background as to what we mean about it, right? If I take a recent example, recently in in Indian Express, there was an article which was talking about in 2022, in the first 6 months of 2022, the number of deaths in Mumbai from heart attack itself has kind of sixfold compared to 2021. Right now, it is not that suddenly people have started leading an unhealthy lifestyle, or people have started, or not taking care of their health. So what is actually defining this sixfold increase in heart attack, right? And the core to it is the COVID and its long-term impact. There are two types of COVID. One is that you quickly recover from COVID, but it has a wider impact over a period of time, which kind of manifests over a period of time or at a longer time period, maybe after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. There are multiple cases of brain damage or semi-dementia or mobility issues that people are basically facing to heart attacks people having heart attacks as well, right? And there are certain COVID is form of COVID which basically persists for a much longer period. So it's not like that 14 days or 28 days in which you actually become negative, right? So what does this mean? This means that either the mortality, which is the death rate, has kind of increased, or the morbidity, which is the quality of life. You are suffering for some of the other disease, which is basically an implication of the COVID that you typically had. Now, this is a big challenge from the insurance, at least life and health insurance industry standpoint. However, this is an opportunity as well for the insurers to plug the protection gap or bridge the protection gap that actually exists. In India, the protection gap is huge in that sense, right? So, what we are asking you to do is, with the background that I have given, you know try to detail out what are those impact and implications on the risk pools and mitigation measures, or largely on the insurance sector itself, life insurance sector, and looking it as an opportunity to bridge the protection gap. What could be those new innovative products, tools, solutions, ideas for insurers which can help kind of bridge the gap so that the society becomes much more resilient going forward as well, while dealing with the COVID and its long term impact, right? So that's what we are asking you to do in the first problem statement. My only a direction would be innovative, be creative in terms of your thinking, and we are bringing the problem statements, be a little realistic in the sense, okay, how the implementation of this would be. Is the implementation possible or not? A little bit of pragmatism around it is important, but we do not want to kind of bound you around in the sense, okay, just need to think from this lens. Be creative, be innovative, come up with ideas. We are looking forward to it, right? So that's the problem statement number one. I'll hand it over to Rohan for problem statement number two.
Thank you, Nishant. Okay, guys. So the second statement is on the technology side. Second challenge is on the metaverse. As you know, metaverse is a VR concept in which we have companies coming in, basically using it as advertisement platform, engaging with their customers. Customers create their own assets. People do commerce on these platforms. People can buy NFTs. You have heard of concepts like Web3. On all these concepts apply in this universe of what we call the metaverse, right? Now, here is where you can use your imagination. Imagine what's going to be in the metaverse, right? As more and more value is created in the metaverse, people create their avatars which have some worth, I believe. Companies create their assets in the metaverse. You start doing transactions in the metaverse. Now, all of these things have value, right? And whenever you create value, you can insure it, and there can be loss of value as well. So therefore, what we are saying is, what kind of use cases can be there when it comes to metaverse? Now, you can think about everything. For example, think about the supply chain. You develop a product for a metaverse. How do you sell it? How do you distribute that product? How do you underwrite that thing? How do you process claims? How do you manage the assets that you have underwritten in the metaverse, right? Think of all these concepts. Think about what all can you actually insure. Can you insure the platform itself? Can you insure my avatar that I create over 10 years, 20 years? Can you insure my reputation as a company that's on the metaverse? So all these things will come into play when you think of metaverse. So just pick what you want to pick. Again, like Nishant said, just keep in mind, this is not just a concept. Companies are actually on metaverse now, creating money, creating commerce, and how do we ensure it is the question which is going to come next. uh, that's it from me. I think, Umesh, back to you. I think we are open to questions now, right?
Yes, guys, we are open to questions. Thank you, Nishant, Rohan, for explaining the problem statements. As Nishant said, please keep in mind we are not looking for obvious solutions. If it is obvious, then we already know it. We are looking for a thinking which is out of the box, which is innovative, which talks about something that may come handy long term. And that's where you need to get going. All right, I see a question from Dinesh. Should the solution be provided considering COVID is going to last for a few more years?
Um, So let me take this up, right? See what we are looking at. Yes, COVID can last for a few more years. The impact of COVID on individuals can actually last for longer, right? So what we are saying is, what could be those innovative solutions, not for curing COVID, but in terms of ensuring, or the impact that it is having on the individuals from a long term standpoint, right? So their morbidity, the mortality, what could be those new innovative products or solutions that are basically brought to the market? So if I understood the question correctly, that's what my answer would be around this, right? If I take the next one, which is, are we to create a solution for Swiss Re in specific, or is it an open-ended point? Um, no, we are not saying that you have to create a solution only specific to Swiss Re. We are saying a solution which is for from the insurance or reinsurance standpoint. We are not talking about being specific to Swiss Re, because as broad as it is, we are absolutely fine. But it has to be insurance and reinsurance related. Okay, what does Swiss Re expect from engineer who is presenting a solution to given problem statement to finance domain? So what does Swiss Re expect from engineer who is presenting a solution? So if you are talking about the finance domain problem statements, whether you are an engineer or you are an MBA student, doesn't matter. What matters is we are looking at more from your your thought process and your innovative thinking in terms of the new products and solutions. If you are able to bring in some some prototype around it, very appreciated. But what we are looking at is more from the thought process standpoint.
Yeah, at least at this point in time, we are looking at what is your line of thought? What are you proposing as a potential solution? So it doesn't matter if you're an engineer or an MBA student or a finance graduate. What matters is what is your line of thought? What are you thinking? How best do you think can a problem be, or can a solution be arrived at?
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, then we are talking about yes, your specialization doesn't matter. It's about your interest, which one basically interests you and your understanding. So it doesn't matter whether you are an engineer, you are an MBA student, you are a finance student. It doesn't matter. Um, can we use animation? Animation, definitely you can use animation. It's like we said, we are not going to kind of curtail it down to say this is exactly what we are looking at. We have given a problem statement. We are just saying keep it pragmatic, but go as broad or as narrow as you want. I mean, we leave it up to your creativity, your understanding, and what you basically your thought process to how you want to bring it. Uh, can you explain problem two a little better, Rohan?
So, look, I think the way we have structured the problem itself is to keep it very wide, right? We did not want to make it very, very specific that how do you ensure this in a metaverse. Now, metaverse, as you know, like I said, it's a very wide concept, right? In which there are multiple things that somebody can ensure. Now, Swiss Re as a company, right? Think about us. We have been doing business for 150 years. We've been insuring assets such as your property, such as your vehicle, such as your life, your health. Our company and other companies in this industry, right, are always thinking, what else can we insure? What is going to come up next? Given all of this, right, metaverse seems to be one area where it's going to be becoming increasingly where this business takes place. Now, for example, cyber is one risk which we all talk about, right? What if my company gets hacked, my data is released? How much loss will I face? How much business interruption will I have? Similarly, in the metaverse, right, you have to first of all think of what is metaverse, what's going to be the future of metaverse, what all is going to happen in the metaverse, which is of some value that somebody will see value in ensuring, right? They have something to lose. And next, you have to think about company like us. Can it be insured? If it can be insured, how it can be insured? And that's how you think about it, right? So it gives you a very open slate as to think about either pick one thing or pick multiple things given in the guardrails that you have put. Umesh can tell you more this about the solution, but given that number of slides that you have to create, Given that limitation, I think you're free to do basically anything in the metaverse and what insurance is possible and everything around metaverse. I think that's what I would say. I would not make it very specific what it is because we want those ideas, right? It's an imagination challenge. So that's why we have kept it slightly at a higher level. Anything you want to add, Umesh, Nishant, on this
No, nothing.
which I'm
So
missing?
thanks,
Yeah.
thanks that for that, Ronak. See, I mean, metaverse has, of course, there is an angle to ensuring the digital assets or assets that are there, and the other angle is what could be the possible implications of metaverse across in the insurance, reinsurance, maybe the value chain standpoint, right? So, so think in those domains. But I saw a couple of questions. I'll take and try to bunch it up together, right? How can we present the entire solution in one page, or how can it be done in 90, 60, 60 to 90 seconds? Please understand what we are asking you in the first instance. We are not asking for a prototype to be presented in the first deliverable, which is it's just a one pager where we what we are looking forward is your thought process as to what you are thinking in terms of what your solution could possibly look like. So at a very high level, we are not saying that you have to give us all the details in one pager, right? But a high level, what is your thought process, how you are thinking about the problem statement, what are you trying to, which part of this because this problem statement might have both the problem statement might have various angles to it, so which angle you are trying to address and how you are trying to address, right? So one slide and 60 to 90 second is what we think is of a video is good enough in terms of explaining this. If you are not able to explain anything in 5 minutes, you will not be able to explain that thing in 60 minutes as well, right? So that's the philosophy that we basically work with. So do not worry. We are in the first instance, we are not looking for a very detailed solution to our problems that are there, but more directional is what we are looking at, whether you are thinking in the right direction or not. Okay.
All right.
Okay. How many use cases to be provided? Minimum one, maximum how many you want?
Yeah, as long as you know your use case is sufficient enough to give us your thought process and I'll get us aligned to your thought process, we are happy with one as well.
I think the next question is about explaining the basic prototype mentioned in the last domain. Prototype is just a working structure, right, of how this solution is going to work. So it's like you like I said, right? Think of the value chain. What product it's going to be? How do you sell it? How do you insure things? How do you underwrite things? How do you issue claims? All those kind of things, right? So that's a high level prototype that you can create. Let's say in a metaverse kind of example. Uh, Basically, it can be as detailed as you want it to be in the first stage, but given the limitations of how much time and space you have, I don't think it needs to be super detailed at this stage.
Thanks, Rohan. So I'll take the next one, which is from Manideep, and that's actually a very interesting point, right? So the point is there can be a change in the style the industry may operate, maybe by the use of personalized insurance based on habits, technology, usage, etc. Should we take into consideration these assumptions? Please take into consideration these assumptions. These are good assumptions to have. But like I said, wear your pragmatic lens, right? There are we are not asking about things that can happen 50 years down the line, right? We are talking about things that are more short to medium term, right? So yes, we are the pragmatic lens, but whatever assumptions you have put is actually correct.
Yeah. Uh, Two questions, I believe, on the metaverse. One is ensuring digital assets. Does it refer only to the assets on metaverse, or can we include altogether new products? When you say new products, it will be a new product, but somehow related to the metaverse. Now, metaverse will have a lot of real life implications as well, right? If you buy an NFT, you pay real life money as well for it, right? So think about it that way, that product, whatever the new product that you're thinking of, can have a real world impact as well. But like we said, it should be related to metaverse in some manner or form. Does not have to be fully in the metaverse, can have a real world impact as well. So like I said, like I gave you the example of platform is a real world thing, right, which has a real balance sheet, real P&L, real stock market listing, but it's a metaverse related issue. So that could also be taken up, I would say. Swiss Re currently does not do anything in the metaverse. It's a very, very new concept, and therefore, again, open to all the ideas.
Thanks, Rohan. There is a question on what's the role of summer internship. I would answer it. I'm assuming what you mean to ask is what is a summer internship and what does the summer intern do? Right. So it's like any for any MBA students and all. This is a very common factor that we do internships. It's basically you come in, there will be an interview. If you pass that, you basically are brought in as an summer intern, and that will be a 2 to 3 months stint that you will be working with Swiss Re. Here you might be actually part of some specific team, and where you learn what that team basically does. You help them in terms of doing that work as well. So your learning is couple of things. Of course, there is a technical aspect of it, but what you actually learn more is the entire corporate, how the corporate works, what are those soft things that we need to kind of keep into consideration, get that experience, which is also very valuable in your from a career standpoint. So the technical as well as the softer, part of being in a corporate, and that too with Swiss Re, it's a multinational organization, steeped in culture, and we are one of the largest reinsurer in the world. So there is tons to learn. We have teams from underwriting till core tech and IT teams as well, to actuarial, also finance, strategy, economics, doctors. They're all sort of people are there. So you get exposure to that wide array of seniors and people that you can interact with and learn from.
Yeah. Uh, Next one is, when it comes to metaverse, do we have to suggest new insurance segment post COVID and a way to increase business through meta, or suggest solutions to increase existing insurance through metaverse? So my understanding is, I think you're thinking about it in terms of Swiss Re being part of metaverse and selling their existing solutions in the real world through metaverse. Ideally, I don't believe this is what we are specifically pointing to. Our thought process is more about ensuring the digital assets which exist in the metaverse, right? It is not about us selling more motor insurance in India through metaverse. That's not the intent here. That would be another marketing platform for companies like us and all the other companies. So I would not focus on it that way. That's not the focus of the solution. And uh, the next question, I think we've already answered. We don't have a solution in metaverse at the moment. I don't think anybody has it. In your solution, if you have space, if you think it's interesting, you could provide a product launch steps like you mentioned, and the implementation as well. But at the moment, we don't have anything there. The third question is also on metaverse, that can we make a new product in the metaverse as a solution? Now that product, again, the issue is about implications on the insurance industry. So if that product is fulfilling an insurance need, then yes, I would say yes. But not a product which is unrelated to insurance, I would say. That should not be the solution. Yeah.
I think we have answered all the questions, right?
Yeah. So the question
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
what is the role offered? Is it a technical or a non-technical role
Sorry
for the summer internship? I believe, right? That
okay, technical or non-technical role. Okay. Now it depends on what do you call technical. Are you calling the IT part of it as technical? Because even an actuarial is technical, underwriting is technical. But if you're talking about IT versus non-IT, both the options are there.
yeah.
That's it. Any more questions coming in?
Doesn't look like.
Cool. Then I think we can comfortably close the session, guys. Read through the case studies, the problem statements, think about it in an innovative way, think about it out of the box, and come back with your first cut. All right, so here comes Something. So basically, what I could understand from the overall talk is that we need to find a creative solution such that users have a better experience in terms of buying digital assets on metaverse.
Uh, not specifically, right? Now, you're saying buying digital assets on metaverse, that is one use case, right? Now, if you buy a digital asset on metaverse, it's possible you may want to insure that asset on the metaverse. Now, the experience itself of buying it is not our concern, right? That's more about the platform doing it. How do people undertake commerce on a meta site? That is up to the platform to implement. Our point comes in, if there is anything worth insuring on the metaverse, how do we insure it? That is what our focus is going to be
Yeah,
on this case study.
yeah. And also, like, if you are on metaverse, right? There could be assets which can be insured, but let me give you a quick understanding of what could be the possible risks. You are on metaverse, your identity could be stolen. There is a threat around that. There is a threat around your privacy. There is a threat around regulations. So
Mm.
there are a lot of risks that emerges because of the metaverse as a platform itself. So there are two ways to look at it, and I should not be doing this, but let me just give you a little bit of understanding, right? There are assets that needs to be insured. That's one problem statement. Just by being on metaverse, there are other risks pools which basically emerges, which is not existent, or are very in a very different form when it is in a physical universe rather than in a in a metaverse, right? So when you are thinking about this problem statement, think of it all from both the angles. It's not only about NFTs, but these additional risks which come just because you are part of the metaverse, and whether that can be insured and how it can be actually insured.
Yeah. Just keep in mind anything which is of value can be insured. So wherever value is being created in the metaverse, be it your e-commerce platform, let's say, right, that you start on a metaverse, or your avatar itself, which has, let's say, 1 million followers, or your company, which does a lot of work on the metaverse and earns a lot of money, real world money on the metaverse, or the platform itself that charges a fee. Everything has value, right? And everything which has value will have a risk associated with it and can be insured.
Okay, so there is one question which is how many domains we have to present in this case. Okay, so everyone, all of us will have to basically take one, either one of it and present. So we are not asking you to present both the domains. Let's be very clear about it. One of the domain we'll have to pick and present our views on it.
Mm.
Yeah, let's have a focused attention.
Yeah.
Wherever you think you have a better hand and better knowledge and better interest in, pick up that domain and present us with your thought process.
I think I did answer that question, right, Sandeep? Question in terms of emerging risk pools. What do we mean by that? Can you please explain the problem statement? Risk pools coming specifically out of metaverse, or risk pool on a whole? Okay, risk pool. Okay, that's a very insurance term. Um, Risk pool is what kind of risks that we are basically insuring as an insurer or reinsurer, right? Motor is a risk pool. Property is a risk pool. In property, there is a nat cat, so flood is a risk pool. Fire is a risk pool. Earthquake is a risk pool, or for that matter. So these are all physical things, right? Let's go towards casualty and liability. What we call it as casualty and liability insurance. Suppose I am a doctor. I do an operation, and that operation doesn't is not successful, or there was some issue that happened because of the machinery failure or something, and the patient basically dies. Now there's a liability that I have, that is called as professional liability, right? So those, and so here it's the reputation, and here we are paying for that, so that's called as medical malpractice, so that's also a risk pool. Suppose that you are a contractor, you have taken a contract to build a bridge, you are not able to build that bridge. Now your the person who has given you the contract would actually come and ask you for the money. How do you pay that? So there is a liability insurance that happens for that. Or you are a shipper, you are basically shipping expensive good from location A to location B, the good never actually reaches that place. Now I have to pay money for that, right? So that's called as that's another risk pool. Or if I have a flood because of which I'm not able to produce something, suppose a nut and bolt, or a part of a car, and that part is important for Toyota to produce its car, right? And they that so because I have got a flood, I am not able to produce that part. That's why Toyota, which is sitting in Japan, cannot produce its car. So there is a liability on me, and that's called as business interruption loss or contingent business interruption loss. So these are various risk pools. So risk pools is nothing but a category of risk which can be actually insured against. That's what risk pool is. I'm not sure whether I was able to answer that question, or if you have, if I understood it correctly, please follow it up here again.
Umesh, a question on do we offer roles in HR for the summer internship? Umesh, you're on mute.
So, what is the concept of internship? Internship is when a business pushes forward its requirement that yes, we are looking for some interns to come and help us, and hence we put forward the requirement to the colleges and for you guys, whoever succeeds and whoever wins this reimagine contest, those individuals will be considered. Now, if HR comes to us with a potential requirement saying yes, we would need some interns, absolutely. If you are exclusively interested in HR, we can also go back to HR saying we have good interns available. If you have some room or some opportunity that you can render to them, yes, we can do that. But I think for now, what is important is you concentrate on the thought process. You are not concentrating towards bagging some internship with the organization. I'd rather say put up your thought process such that we are there to give you a job offer. Forget about internship. Let's try and think about what we want to bring to the table and what's the kind of meat we want to produce, saying this is what I have in me and this is the kind of thought process that I come to you with, and the rest will follow, I'm sure.
Um, on the metaverse again, are we
Mm.
focusing on improving the customer journey for already identified risk pools? So no, we don't have identified risk pools. And that is the question that we're asking. What risk pools may emerge in the metaverse in the future? And let's say you identify a risk pool, which is something new. Then you have to think about the customer journey and all of those things, right? Selling them, insuring claims, all of those kind of things. But what we're asking is to first of all identify the risk pool itself, which does not exist today. And then you do everything else on top.
Yeah. So identify the risk pool, and then of course, how do we ensure that? How do we ensure that those risk
And the
pools
and
are
the, the
coming under
customer
underwriting?
journey and
And the customer journey, yes, of
experience and
course,
everything is after that.
absolutely.
Cool. Any more questions? All right, guys. Then I think we're good to go. Yeah, please feel free to reach out to us. If you have any questions, any more clarification, reach out to Unstop. They will reach out to us, and we will ensure that you're given appropriate answers. In case you get stuck anywhere while you're working on your thought process, while you're preparing your one pager, don't hesitate in reaching out to us. We will definitely be there, and we'll try and answer as many questions as we can. So no challenges there. Please feel free to reach out to us, to Unstop, whichever way it makes you comfortable, and push in your entries. Yeah.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
great. Thank you so much for your time and hope to see you soon in Swiss Re then.
Bye bye.
Great. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Take care.